Last year, Venezuela was the scene of widespread anti-government protests. The protests directed at President Nicolás Maduro's government were loud and frequently violent. At least 150 people were killed, most of them from the opposition. Those responsible for the killings were said to be members of the country's security forces. But now, a report by the UN human rights body says their activities stretched far wider, claiming yet more lives. The UN accuses Venezuela's security forces of carrying out arbitrary killings in poor neighborhoods under the guise of fighting crime. From 2015 until 2017, they're said to have killed 505 people.
Witness accounts suggest that there was a pattern that took place during these operations. There were raids conducted in poor neighborhoods to arrest so-called criminals without a judicial warrant. Then there was a killing of young men who fit the profile, in some cases in their homes. And finally, the security forces would tamper with the scene so that the killings would appear to have occurred in an exchange of fire.
The UN Human Rights Office said that it was sending its latest report on Venezuela to the International Criminal Court, whose prosecutor opened a preliminary inquiry into alleged violations in February.
The failure to hold security forces accountable for such serious human rights violations suggests that the rule of law is virtually absent in Venezuela. For years now, institutional checks and balances and the democratic space in Venezuela have been chiseled away, leaving little room to hold the state to account. This impunity must end.
Critics say President Maduro has increasingly resorted to authoritarian methods to control increasing discontent. The oil-rich country is going through a deep political and economic crisis. Thousands of people are fleeing the country every day as violence and shortages of food and medicines have become widespread.
The repression is still there. It's more targeted. We've seen increasing participation of intelligence services that go and participate in the arrests and in the abuses against detainees, including cases of torture.
The Venezuelan government has in the past dismissed human rights allegations as lies. But the UN says their investigation is based on interviews with about 150 witnesses and victims and consider it to be proof enough that the killings took place. Teresa, Al Jazeera.